So I've prepped my foliage, or at least some of it, and I'm going to start showing you how to wind on your material. Remember, we've got the wire on the inside to out, and that's going to help. You will probably need a bit more table space than I've got, but I want to demonstrate what I'm adding on. Okay, so it's actually easier to do it flat. So in the first instance, we work with a fan, and the biggest problem new technicians of a wreath making find is laying the material in the right direction so that you're not wrapping over the material. So let me show you what I mean. If we lay it this way and fan the material over the wreath like that, and then we wrap it round, we then can layer the next stage, for instance the ivy, and actually I'm just going to lay the whole thing over the top of it. Let me just show you if we do it the other way round. If you wire it and you think, oh, I've laid it that way, and then you start wrapping, and then you layer it again, it's remarkable how easy it is to do this. You're actually layering on top of what you've already done, and you'll do it again, and you can get yourself in a bit of a mess. We need to make sure we start that fanning technique away from the direction we are going to be going. So let me show you that one more time. You create a fan, you have your thickest twig at the back, next, create a nice little fan, so dirty, and you layer it to the side you're going to be working away from. You wrap the wire around once, and you only need to do it, it's hard to say with the teeth in, you wrap the wire around once, and that is enough to secure that first bit of foliage. And then take your next detail, and I like to add a bit of detail now, and wrap the wire around. Again, you're only wrapping over the stems and the stalks. It's nice then to start fanning either side of the detail, so you're covering up the moss, okay? You're gonna get a wider spread of foliage then around your wreath, okay? And although we were an inch for wrapping around the moss, now we're going to go a little bit tighter, okay? I like to put a bit over the top as well and secure the stems down, okay? And I'm gonna add some of this really lovely pennywort and a bit of the honesty. Harder to do in demonstration than it is if you're just laying it flat on the table, okay? So you've just got to keep going like this now. And the nice thing is you can get into a little rhythm and a flow of the colours and the things that are going to interest you. Cut that bit down a little bit more. Should have worn my apron. I've got an apron for this actually. So a little bit of rosemary. Again, I want to make the most of my material. So, you know, you don't see it in the singular when it's on the wreath. And we're trying to add some bits to the side. This fuchsia might work really nicely to add a bit of a side detail, because it's, once it's hanging, and maybe that would be on the top. Once it's hanging, that's gonna be really pretty. Okay. So, I want you to work with me at this stage, because it's easy to, as I say, wrap around the wrong section of the plant and not layer in the same way. So fanning and working the wire away from the fan that you've placed on the wreath is the modus operandi, okay? So I'm going to keep going, and I want you to join me. This is where you can start having a mince pie and a sip of your mulled wine, if it's after a certain hour in the day, or at least if it's a day. a day off. So as you can see, I keep building up those evergreen bits in between. You see, and it's quite nice because it's going to have quite a nice lot of red and white scheme in it, which is a lovely colour combo for Christmas, and all nature's work as well. You will, in your kit, have a few additions like cinnamon sticks. You don't have to use them. I'll just put them in case you want to. But I find that actually, when you've got the detail with the different bits of bobs from your garden, you won't actually want to put in even a ribbon. I've got some natural dyed ribbon that I sometimes attach to the bottom, which looks really lovely. Or even just use as the hanging strap. So I'll show it on my door when I've finished. How are you getting on? Can you see it's really starting to build up? And I'm pushing the foliage away from this center wreath. So I'm fanning it this way, not fanning it into the center. So we've got a nice gap here and it definitely looks like a ring. And you can see all that detail now is really lovely, starting to come together. And I've started that repetition once, twice. I'll now have another sedum and I'll try and get in the third honesty. I might be able to do 4 honesties just to get a bit of repetition going on this larger spray of wreath. I'll do the same with the fuchsia and the sedum, and hopefully the rosemary too. But if you run out of something, just put in something else. It doesn't have to look perfect. What I love about creativity is reflecting ourselves, not looking like everything else. We're all so unique, and our take on what's attractive is pretty unique as well. And it's amazing how lovely something we've homemade on your door will look, and how you just don't, you see it in the round, literally. You don't see any of the missed details that will be preoccupying you as you go through this process. Okay, what else would I like? Maybe I'll go for a bit more fuchsia. And you can see I've actually left quite a long bit of stem there, but I don't mind. I'm just going to wrap that in. It's not going to be a problem. It's just easier to leave it in, and then I know it's secure, so it's not going to fall out. A bit tighter. I would try and layer up nice and thickly as well. You know, don't try and get around too fast. Try and build it up nice and tall. Make a mess. Some lavender sprays here. Because they're a bit thin, I'm going to incorporate them with a bit more conifer and maybe a bit of this lamium. It's got the silvery bits in it. Okay, there we go. nice thing is as well, once you've completely finished, you can add a little bit extra of the things that you might have missed. I have seen lovely full honesty wreaths, which I quite like to do for an all year round wreath. I have yet to grow enough honesty, and that's not, I just need a little woodland. They like it shady, they're an annual, so you could sow some of these things. And what's quite nice about this process is if you do turn it into a tradition, something you're going to do every year, maybe with your family, then you can even start to grow a few items like eucalyptus in your garden. That will really work. So I've completely changed now. I've added this ivy and it looks great. But yes, you can grow things like your holly, variegated holly, eucalyptus, anything that you think might be nice. Ruscus is a lovely one, a bit prickly, but lovely. Rosemary, this rosemary came from my garden. All this came from my garden. And I have a tiny garden. So if I can do it, you can do it. I might even try and do a little post of what to plant to get the best wreaths. Now, we're coming up to the bit where you need a little bit more technical advice. So can you see, we're now getting to the section where the beginning and the end are about to meet. What you want to make sure is you're getting the final foliage underneath so that you have a continuous flow and nobody can see where you started, okay? So I'll get a bit closer and then I'll start showing you the final bit because we're nearly at the end of our wreath. Now I'm pretty quick. I have made hundreds of wreaths, worn my fingers to the bone. So just take your time and enjoy it. It really is a lovely thing to do.